that hopefully this worked out just right. And I got it just in time. Are you with me on all these songs? How about that Venus Girl song? That is incredible, is it not? Oh my God, that woman's voice. So crystal clear, so good. And what vocal cords that woman has. I just want to take her to an opera teacher and be like, this is a Wagnerian soprano. But she probably already knows that. But if you don't know that, oh my God, you have a Wagnerian soprano voice. And that's what Kate Bush has. That's what I have. Just quiet though. That's the only reason I know that is because those vocal cords are something else. Um, Freddie Mercury actually was a Wagnerian soprano. True story. And Kate Bush is a Wagnerian soprano. There's a couple others. Anybody who sings the role of Brunhilde in any of Wagner's operas. Not that Wagner's operas are that compelling to me as an opera person, but nonetheless, they take so much work to do. Those ring cycles, days of singing. And the only people who can do that are people with really thick vocal cords who can really belt those notes. And that is the kind of majestic, fantastic voice that the woman who sings for Venus Girls has. And oh my God, talk about some opera and some metal right there. Yeah, that's fantastic stuff. And then Rocket. What do you think of Rocket? Isn't that a great band? Oh my God, I couldn't figure out whether to put that on Shoegaze Wednesday or my Doom show on Tuesday, and I figured I'd throw it in on Maximina Thrash Tuesday, even though it'd fit just as well on Shoegaze Wednesday, because there's no Shoegaze Wednesday this week, and I wanted you to hear that song this week when it's brand new. It's so good, is it not? Such good shoegaze slash doomgaze. Love it. I'm eating it up. Such good stuff by Rocket. And I'm always about some woman-fronted doom, am I not? Yeah, you know I am. So all of these bands, except for the band right in the middle. Why am I forgetting names right now? Rat King, sorry, but Rat King, the guy who sings for Rat King has an amazing voice as well. And that's why I stacked all these songs in this set because I wanted you to have a set full of just amazing voices. I tend to favor those myself anyway. I have a little bit of a soft spot in my heart for them. But anyway, Rat King Abyss, that is a fantastic song sung by a fantastic singer, and it's so brand new. 4 days ago that came out. And the Rocket tune, I want to say that that's actually like 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Yeah. It did actually come out a month ago, but I just found it yesterday, and so I had to get it out to you right away because it's so good. And then Lorcan's Admiral, that song came out 3 weeks ago. I love this video and I love this song. The person who's singing for Lorcan's Admiral, and I'm not sure exactly how to say that. I'm not sure if it's like the Q in Montreal, or sorry, Montreal, the Q in Montreal, the Q in Quebec, which is soft, which is Quebec. So it could be Lorcan's Admiral, the soft Q, or it could be the hard Q of lots of Germanic languages. Not sure. Lorquin's Admiral, where it's got the w in there. Qu. Yeah. Like QW. Yeah. Not sure. I guess somebody will have to tell me because I cannot remember where Lorquin's Admiral comes from, where this name is coming from. But I do love this band. And I absolutely love this video. I love I don't know, the rainbow wash that reminds me a little bit of, Electric Company. Does it remind you of Electric Company? It reminds me a little bit of Electric Company, but modern. So cool. And I'm loving the haircut. I'm loving the haircut of the lead singer of Lorcan's Admiral. It reminds me very much of a friend who does not any longer go by the name Anne, but I am not entirely sure because I have not spoken to this person in some time. Don't want to dead name him, but reminds me of my friend. And I love the haircut. I love it. It's just so good. All right. I'm rambling, but all of the bands in this last set, amazing singers. Am I right? All right, so next in the set, you got two songs, that's it, and then we're out for the day. Sycophant with Red Sun. This is a really fantastic song. And then Twisted Demons with You Know You Want To. Another group, all women in metal, and amazingly beautiful, amazingly good singers. Everyone on the show today, amazingly good singers. Am I right? Every last one of these tracks, just really quality vocals. I tend to side for that. Yeah. So, if you're in this set, if you're on this show, just know I really like your voice. Yeah. So I'm Madame Maledicta, and I'm going to do the same thing I always do on every show and scream at you. Do not use Spotify. Yeah, they're evil. They're super evil. And if you don't like Trump, then they're really that much more evil because they hosted the Trump bruncheon before this clown got into office. Yeah, they gave so much money to this election. It's like big tech bought this election. Oh, am I right? And Spotify is absolutely part of big American tech, so avoid them like the plague. And if you're a musician, I'm testing this out within myself. And I don't know whether I'm just going to go with this or not. I'm gonna hold it up actually over on Blue Sky and ask the musicians I know if this is fair. But I am seriously so appalled by Spotify and how they steal from musicians and how they stole an election, helped a person steal an election and funded that shit. Yes, I said that word. That's all right, because I'm not on the radio and nobody can censor me. Yeah, they funded that shit. So you know what? Don't support these assholes. If you know it's good for you, don't support them. So I'm about to be like, you know what, as a broadcaster, I've been screaming this since 2019, and now I'm putting my feet to the road. So if your music is on Spotify, I really, really want broadcasters to stand up and say, we won't play Spotify stuff anymore. If a musician's putting music on Spotify, we have to until they don't put their music on Spotify anymore. So this absolute grandiose travesty that's going on in America stops. Everybody needs to stop supporting Spotify, and that includes musicians. If you're putting your music on Spotify, you're allowing them to exploit you. I cannot be more clear about it. They do not have music to play if musicians will not support Spotify. So, I am nearly at the point where I'm about to start yelling and being like, "All right, if your music's on Spotify, please do me a favor and get it off there and then I'll play ya." But I feel like that's unfair. Uh, I don't know yet. I feel like it's fair, but it's unfair. I've been yelling about this since 2019, and the musician line on it is always, yeah, but people discover us there. Absolutely, I totally agree with you. Wherever people are discovering you, that's a great place to be. Your music cannot get discovered if it's not someplace accessible. But YouTube is accessible. And if you need help with that, I know that there's a rule that says, oh, musicians have to come at this from a label and blah, blah. You know what? There's a way around it. And if you don't know what that way around it is, please come see me. I'll help you. Do you have a song that you want to submit to me that you want a video for so that you can go own the channel and then bypass all that YouTube crap about having to have a certain amount of money and a label and all that? Yeah, well, I will do that for you. I will happily put your music up on YouTube. Please come see me. MMEMALEDICTA. Take your music off Spotify. Please, please, please. I cannot say it louder. please, I've been pleading since 2019. Take your music off Spotify and stop letting them steal your music and elections. Please? Please. All right. And I'm not sure if that's fair yet, so I haven't quite decided, but I'm almost there. Because you know what? What's going on is a travesty, and somebody's got to stop it. Somebody has to draw the line somewhere. And I know that that's a hard line to draw, and that'll make my shows nice and boring. It'll mean that like certain bands have like 5 songs on a show because you know what? Right now, the music leader, the leading streaming service is Spotify, and everybody puts their music up on it. But we need it to stop. So, musicians, please weigh in. What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take for everybody to tell Spotify to get bent? Please comment on this video and let me know. Send me an email, MMEMALEDICTA. I want to see everybody. Take your music off Spotify, please. That's the final word on the Maledicta show today. For Max and Minus Trash. Thank you for being here and for listening to me scream every single day about an issue here or there. An issue every single day that I have to just like holler from a mountain about. If the world weren't so absolutely screwed up, I'm trying to be polite here. You know what? Give me the credit. I'm trying to be polite here. If the world weren't absolutely screwed up and trying to steal musicians' profits and steal elections and steal the checks out from under people who are receiving Social Security. If that's not news you've heard, you need to hear that. I am a Social Security recipient. I am deeply disabled. I am in a wheelchair. If you can't tell, I'm in it right now. In fact, you know what? Here, let me prove it to you. I'll go up. Check me out. And I'll go down in my wheelchair. You can't do that in an office chair. You can only do that in a wheelchair, to my knowledge. Yeah. And I have a very special wheelchair that my doctor was very special and got me. And I feel really, really privileged because I'm like the 1% who has one of these chairs. It's a wonderful chair. It's a Perma wheelchair. Anyway, I'm in a wheelchair for life because I have MS. And it's not like I'm going to start walking anytime soon because I have a degenerative brain disease. It's not like I'm going to start working anytime soon because I have a degenerative brain disease. I fall asleep in the middle of my shows, and I'm admitting this to you right now. Yes, I fall asleep in the middle of my shows and have to resume things because I don't sleep at night from pain. I have such insomnia and such pain that I can't actually work. I am sick enough. I am sick every single day. The me you see on camera is a churched up me, if you will. I seriously spend a good lot of time trying to look not sick. And you can see in lots of my videos, I do absolutely do look like I'm drug out and sick because I am. I'm sick every night. That's MS for you. It's a lifelong subscription to the flu. It's a fun time and not walking and being in a wheelchair. So yeah, I get Social Security. And I fell in the windfall gap. So I was supposed to be part of Para, but I didn't quite work for them 5 years. I was 1 month short. 1 month short of taking advantage of the Para why is this word away from me? Retirement. My apologies. I worked for a university in AI and was a student researcher and teacher. And I worked for Para, and I honestly don't believe somebody who works for Para for 5 years should just go and up and retire. My retirement would have been paltry, and I wouldn't have been able to get Social Security, but at least I would have gotten a little something, like $100 a month, which would have been okay, because I contributed greatly to the AI that you know and love. Well, and maybe you don't know and love it. It's flawed as hell. But it's doing a lot of really great things in the world, and I contributed to it. I'm like the grandmother of AI up in here. I worked on a linguistic project, a large linguistic model that helped the AI that you know form today's world. So that's something, right? But I couldn't get it counted as work experience. And I got screwed out of Social Security even though I dumped tons of money in it before that because I wasn't just a college student who worked for Para. I had worked for 16 years before that as a makeup artist in department stores slogging it out, like hard labor actually. Hard, like makeup artistry, you don't think of it as such, but it's hard bodily labor where you're in weird positions for like 12 hours a day. Yeah, it was not fun working retail in department stores for 16 years before I went to college. And I dumped money into Social Security. And as a kid, working as a barista and every other job that a kid has, I've worked since the time I was 15 years old, officially on the Social Security books. And so by the time that I worked for the college, I had like $300 in Social Security that would have come to me via SSDI. But I got screwed out of it. And so now I just get SSI. And people who are on SSI live on less than $900 a month. The maximum payment you can get via SSI in today's society in America is something like $926. And if you think that's going to pay rent anywhere, you're wrong. It's not. The average rent everywhere is about $1,500 for a studio. So 900, it ain't buying you shit. Those are starvation wages. Those are, they keep SSI wages well under poverty. I don't know why, but they do in this modern world where people are like me, fall in the gap, and are not able to work. Well, guess what Trump just did? He just made it so that if you owe any arrears, if they decided against you during the quarantine, which it did this to millions of people, and then continuously audited them through the quarantine and starved them while the world was dying. And do you really think that's a good strategy if everybody's sick? Starve people and like take their money during the quarantine while they can't work so that everything is screwed. That's not a good way for everybody to get healthy. It's really not. It's not a good way. If you can barely afford to feed yourself, if you can barely afford to stay in a house, if you end up homeless, you're going to spread COVID like mad. It's a stupid idea. But millions of people got audited during the quarantine because nobody was allowed to go into the office, so there was nobody to distribute checks and nobody to check up on stuff, so they just audited people. And I was one of those people who's been getting audited and garnished for 5 years. And so I owe a back due amount. And Trump comes along and says, you know what? Anybody who owes a back due amount, we're just going to take their check. No notice, take their check until they pay it. Well, my amount. Okay, so reconnection helped there. Apparently, I yelled out my connection like somebody screaming out a candle. Anyway. So yeah, it's evil. They decide against you like that. Oh, you can't make enough money. We're going to charge you more money so that you're going to get kicked out of your house. That's real smart too, right? Real smart. And so here comes Trump. Oh, anybody who owes on their Social Security, they're just not getting a check in April. But a lot of people don't realize it yet because the letters haven't gone out because they also cut the SSA staff by 50%. So there's not enough people to send out the letters to let people know, hey, you're not getting a check. Instead of this supposed windfall gap that they voted in, oh, we're going to be fair to people on Social Security. Bullshit, you're not. You're not either. And I'm yelling about it because it's bullshit. to tell people that owe a cap, oh, you have to pay the whole thing back before we'll pay you a check? Somebody set fire to these people already. This is bullshit. Anyway, that's where we're at, and I'm screaming about it because guess what? If you're on Social Security, you don't know that this is coming at you yet because they haven't distributed the letters. You have to read between the lines on the news because they're not saying it because people would riot. Well, people are gonna riot. When they don't get a check in April and they figure out why, the White House will burn. You know what? That's my prediction. People are going to start setting fire to stuff. That is career suicide. All of you who voted for Trump, fuck you. Fuck you for doing it. And you know what? I'm not being polite saying that. Fuck you for voting for that asshole. You're making all of us suffer. Thanks. Thanks, you're some real dicks. And that's what I have to leave on today. That kind of anger. If you're angry, write me. Let's do this together. Let's burn some shit down. All right, I'm Madam Maledicta, and I try to be as cheery as I can, but I'm out for today to go get angry and take a nap. I'll talk to you soon.